Pre-launch campaign for the Florida Man Kickstarter. Florida Man RPG is an original TTRPG based on some of my favorite games, characters, and of course the viral insanity that is Florida. And this ain't a supplement. 6 ability scores, 10 playable species, 10 classes, 30 subclasses, 12 backgrounds, a full list of alignments, deities, feats, weapons, vehicles. Florida Man RPG will be completed using only human art and input. I've recently partnered with the fantastically talented THAC0. His role, in addition to awesome illustrations, will be bringing my Florida Man RPG vision to life. I've been cultivating a small team of creatives to put this thing together, and we're ready to get started. So why the GoFundMe? The pre-launch will provide the necessary capital used to commission the art and design for the upcoming Kickstarter campaign. It'll also cover short-term production and prep costs, assets, printing quotes, marketing. Finally, this funding will also help pay bills and keep the lights on while I devote my full time to the project. And if you do decide to donate, you get some pretty cool stuff. Your name on a special acknowledgement page in the book, early access to images and playtest materials, and my eternal gratitude. And maybe some kind of Florida blessing or something. No promises. Check out the link in the description. It's got all the information that's there. It's got that really cool original art piece by THAC. Remember, sometimes the best stories don't happen in dungeons. They happen at the gas station. Thanks for listening and thanks for believing in the project. Let's make something completely unhinged.
Welcome back, everybody. This is the 27th episode of Rogue Bard Advice, a D&D TTRPG. Why is Life and Everything Sports and Entertainment Podcast. We do have technical issues. I don't know why we're having technical issues all of a sudden with the microphone. It was working perfectly last week, and I don't do anything to it. Oh, but it wouldn't be a Rogue Bard Advice without some technical difficulties, right? Welcome in, everybody. Ron, Ruby, Bacon. I know Puffy Cheeto is listening. Kirk, welcome in when you get here. I know Teeny is also listening, or not. She may be late. She's driving and still has like 15 minutes left on her drive. Tech be teching, yep. Kirk back. Detroit-style pizza taking longer than expected. Technical difficulties just assure us that you aren't AI. Yes, I am not AI. I don't want to be AI. But no, I am definitely not AI. Appreciate that, Kirk. So, yeah. How's everybody's week been? I have gotten some news, and I have some news to share. And so let's just go to it. So we need to send our support and thoughts and everything to a couple members of our crew. Our pirate crew here in the Rogue Bard Advice channel. Before I found out another member of our crew is going through issues, this was written up. But we have 2 Chris's, though one's puffier than all the other Chris's, are going through some things right now. Now, I'm not going to share the guy in the deserts because, one, I don't know and I don't want to speculate. It's his, that's his to share. And I will get to your question, Kirk, in a minute while I do this. But, yeah, there is a style of pizza that pirates prefer. Well, at least this pirate. But ancient pirates, we'll discuss that. That may be a question for another show, but we'll discuss that. But Puffy Cheeto's mom was at the doctor's office today or yesterday, and they were given some worse news than what they had originally anticipated. Not years, but months that her mom has left. The cancer is spreading, or is aggressive, extremely aggressive in nature. They have two options. The first option being aggressive chemotherapy, which will more than likely hasten the end outcome, or just making her comfortable and putting her into hospice. That is why Puffy Cheeto is not with us right now. She's with us listening in spirit. And Amanda, do what I told you already. If you need to take time away to grieve and to deal, absolutely. Your priorities are your family. Same thing, similar, is going on with another group in our little troop. If they want me to say anything, put it in the chat, and while that's going on, I'll answer Kirk's question. Or instead of putting it in the chat, just shoot me a message on the Discord. And but to answer Kirk's question about what style pizza did Ancient Pirates prefer, unsure. I can get you the information because I don't think they had pizza back then. I don't think pizza was a thing yet. And if it was, it wasn't from Italy yet. So, but I had pizza tonight too. I made myself a chicken Alfredo and turkey pepperoni pizza, and then I cut it in half and I turned it into pizzone, like a pizza calzone. So yes, thank you, Ron, for mentioning that. That's what I was told. Our condolences to you and your family, and our thoughts are with you always. This group of people that we have here is so tight knit, that if something hurts one of y'all, it hurts all of us. I can't even imagine. Well, I can imagine what you're going through, but I can't imagine what you will be going through in the next couple days, couple weeks, couple months for Puffy Cheeto. Yeah, much love. So, on that, the guy in the desert did tell me that no, he hasn't abandoned us over here at Rogue Bard Advice. He actually loves everybody over here. He just had to step away. He got some news himself, and he has been trying to deal with it in his own way. He didn't share what his news was to me, but I can fathom a guess. I'm not going to say anything, but that's what I said. I can fathom a guess for myself, but diagnosis was only 3 weeks ago for Ron's mother. Wow. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Ruby. Ron, I oh. Our resident D&D graybeards from Canada. So, yeah, I know it's flashing on and off, and I don't know what the deal is with it. I must have moved something over there when I was messing with my computer earlier today, and because it wasn't doing this before. So, but anyway, um, let's move on, shall we? Because we have a huge show tonight, and the last question of the show will probably, yeah, thanks to Bacon for that question. That's a very astute question. I mentioned that in the Discord, and it's a question, though I don't know if Bacon was playing D&D for that question. So we'll see. But our first question of the evening comes from Puffy Cheeto. If you were creating a campaign set in a place where you have been in real life, where would it be and why? Now I'm going to expand upon this and say not only where would the campaign be, why would the campaign be there, but also what the campaign is. The curved lines in the X marks the sphincter. Wait, what? What? Not this one, right? Oh, you mean that one? I never noticed that before. That's awesome. That's awesome, Ron. That's awesome. Only you would see the sphincter. I mean, Jesus. Jesus. I'm sorry, Ron. I'm sorry. Where is the pancreas? I'm just saying. Sorry. Don't shoot the sphincter. Anyway, back to the question at hand. I don't even know if I can get through this one now. But I'm gonna expand upon it and say what the campaign would be. So let's see. Of all the places that I have been in the world, Italy, Germany, Kuwait, Iraq, the entire eastern seaboard, with the exception of Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Maine. And well, yeah, Bacon. Do you not just hear me say I had turkey pepperoni on my chicken Alfredo pizza this evening? It would have to be. I really thought this one was easy. I'm trying to do this one on the fly because I spent an hour and a half. I spent an hour and 47 minutes at the Walmart today because it's back to school. And I had to buy some new things. But anyway, so I didn't actually get a chance to think about this one. But being that I've only been so many places, I'm gonna say Iraq and the Middle East. Why? Because there's so many ruins there in the Middle East. You have the Babylon ruins. You have Mesopotamian ruins, which is still Babylon, but yeah, no, it's the ancient world is over there. I mean, it's not too far of a hop, skip, and a jump through Syria to Israel and into Egypt. So, yeah, but that's where I would be, and it would be a desert campaign. It would be a fine. It would probably be similar along the Knights of Arabia campaigns, where you're doing something for an Arabian prince. I don't know. That's giant sand scorpions. I'm talking like huge sand scorpions. How about give me a minute. I gotta fix this. You know what? Let me see something, because it might be this. It might just be that. It might be Discord freaking having an issue because the streamer setting was on Discord. So that might be. Let's see if that. You don't have. Do you have audio now? Because I am at Discord I'm even going to I'm going to quit Discord. How about that? Yay, we're up. We're up. Don't know for how long, but we're up. So, but yeah, Puffy, thanks for the question. We're not up. This is what I'm dealing with. It's not Bluetooth. It's Wi. We're going to the lobby real quick. I have never had so much problems with the stream tonight. There's so much that's going wrong with this thing tonight. And now I don't have camera. But that should be easily fixable because I can just do this. There. Look at that. I'm back. Yeah, I'm just going to hold the damn button down because I don't know what's up with the mic. So I'm going to hold the damn button down and we'll just muddle through it that way. So the second question of the evening comes from Kirk. Thank you, Kirk, for the questions, by the way. Kirk, you are a rock star. And I could not do this podcast without some of your questions. We hear about Somalian pirates, but from what I've heard, they are disappointing. What, to you, is their most disappointing aspect? Lack of peg legs and or hooks? No parrots? No plank walking? Something else? Well, Kirk, Thank you for asking. It is actually something else. Now, while your other questions do have merits, there is one thing that the Somali pirates don't have that separate them from every other pirate in the world. You know, Somali pirates take the big old the big old cargo ships and cruise liners and everything else with John boats and outboard Evinrude motors. They don't even have a proper pirate ship, and they don't have a proper pirate flag. That is the most disappointing thing about Somali pirates. Not the fact that they use rifles, not the fact that they don't have cutlasses. We'll talk about the lack of peg legs and or hooks in a minute. Parrots, they won't have parrots because parrots are a tropical bird from the Costa Rican area and the subtropical region north of North South America, and the Amazon. So they Somali pirates over there would probably have like monkeys. Dalen, welcome in. And yeah, no sails. They don't sail. They John boat. And because they don't have a big 18th century sailing ship, of course there's no plank walking. Have you ever tried to walk the plank when you're a foot and a half off the water? It doesn't. I mean, it's there's no point. It's like you're on a diving board at that point. Well, you're on a diving board. That's basically what walking a plank is, just getting on a diving board and jumping in the ocean. And they, yeah, right. Iraqis had more things in common with pirates than the Somalis do. Peg legs and hooks or hooks. Let's discuss that for a minute. Those were actually, while some pirates did get a peg leg through to an accident, many pirates who got an amputation and needed a wooden leg or some other sort of prosthesis were typically given like a third of every man's share on the boat. They set him up for life, and he didn't have to pirate again. And while there are fictional pirates with hooks, none of my research into piracy and the archaeology of piracy has ever come across a pirate who had a hook for a hand. Unfortunately. I mean, a pirate with a hook for a hand would be useless on a ship, on a full rigged ship. That pirate hook would get caught in the rigging or cut the sails and everything. So seems obvious now. Oh, you want obvious? There's another question here that uses the word obvious, and we'll get to that, Kirk. Just teasing. Yeah, it's obvious. That's the most disappointing thing is they're not sailors. They're not sailors. They're landlubbers who get in a John boat and think they can just come up to a cruise ship or come up to a cargo ship and just take it. And those ships now have countermeasures to counteract that. They got like barbed wire on all the way around on the railings. They've got large fire hoses that they can shoot water off the side. Because what do the Somali pirates do? They pull up with the John boat and then they put a ladder from the John boat to the top of the railing of the cargo vessel, and that's how they get on. So Yeah, they're not even true pirates. They don't swing from rope from one ship to the other when they're trying to board. They don't have big old 16-inch cannons. They have AK-47s and maybe a rocket launcher or two. But yeah, that's the most disappointing. They call themselves pirates, but they're not pirates in the least. But thank you for that question, Kirk. It was a real tip of the hat question. And I moved my camera, but that's okay. We will deal with that another time. I'm not worried about that. You guys can still see me. Moving on to question number 3. This comes from Ruby. Thank you for the question ahead of time, Ruby. I can actually answer. I know you sent me questions for Melody. Currently, she's babysitting our adopted granddaughter. So she's also been dealing with family matters from her side of the family. But I could answer all of the questions you have for her. I'm just not going to, because you specifically told her or asked the question for her. I haven't even shared those questions with her. I was going to share them if she was going to be in the live, but she's not. So, so a few weeks ago, I talked about Melody's younger self in relation to the memorials. So that got you thinking, when did we meet each other, and was it love at first sight? Now I'm going to answer the second half of the question first. I don't know if it was love at first sight. It was more of me asking myself who she reminded me of based off of her looks and her attitude and her personality and everything else. And then as I was leaving to go to it's now Fort Cavazos, but it's fixing to be back to Fort Hood, because it was Fort Hood to begin with. Yeah, that's a whole fiasco we don't want to talk about. But I was fixing to leave home here in Melbourne, Florida, and go to Fort Cavazos as my next duty station. And it dawned on me who she was, or who she reminded me of. So I stopped into Blockbuster where she worked. Yes, she worked at Blockbuster. And leaned over her shoulder with my arms on her shoulders and whispered in her ear, "I know who you remind me of." And I just whispered the word Piper. And then I turned around and walked away. Piper, if you guys don't know, is the the middle child. Was it Prue first, then Piper, then Phoebe from Charmed? Or was it Piper, then Prue, then Phoebe? Either way, she reminded me of Piper, Holly Marie Combs. She looked exactly like Holly Marie Combs when I first met her. So, but yeah, that's to answer the was it love at first sight. I don't know if it was love at first sight. If you ask her, I asked her 14 times to marry me, and she said no every single time, and she said yes. So, but when did we meet each other? I was home on leave. I was leaving from Fort Drum, New York to go down to Fort Hood, Texas, and I was home on leave for 2-3 weeks, maybe a month. I don't remember how long I took. And it just so happened to be the weekend of her birthday. I was invited to her apartment by a friend of mine who also used to work with Melody, who was a friend of Melody. I've been friends with him since middle school. But he's like, "Hey, we're getting together at a friend of mine's house, and we're playing Rock Band. Do you want to come out and play?" I'm like, "Sure." He asked Melody. She's like, "He's your friend. He's your problem. He gets out of line, and that's on you." And then we proceeded to play Rock Band. And I don't know if it was the song we chose or what, but it was a song I know by heart kind of thing. And we were playing on expert level. And everybody had an instrument except for me. So they gave me the microphone and said, here, sing it. I'm like, okay, singing it on expert. And without missing a beat, without looking at the screen, without looking at the TV, I was just staring at Melody while she played the bass, because that's what she plays. She plays bass. And I sang Radiohead's Creep, word for word, line for line, pitch for pitch, 100% that shit on expert. It's not a hard song to do. They just couldn't believe that I did it on expert and I 100%ed it without even looking at the TV. So we had to do it again. And then we had to do it a third time. And from that day forward, Radiohead's Creep is Melody and mine's song. That is our song. Love at First Rock. Probably. But she gets all teary-eyed and emotional when she hears Creep come on. If we're playing Rock Band and we play Creep, I have to sing it. But I also play guitar, so I'm singing it and doing the guitar part. And I'm still like 98, 99% on expert on the guitar. But I still rock out the microphone on expert. So who knows? But yeah, that was that's the answer. We met weekend of her birthday. And funny thing is, I offered to do something because I still had my uniform and I was in a little better shape than I was now. And I offered to do something, and I still have not gotten a reply on whether or not she wants a striptease for her birthday. I mean, don't all women like a man in uniform doing a striptease? I mean, bachelorette parties have stripper police officers and firemen. Why not a stripper army guy? So that's a little bit more of a lore drop than I wanted to relive, but wanted to explain. But it's out there, so lore drop. But thank you for the question, Ruby. It was a nice question. In light of all of the negativity, I think that's a great question. But moving on to our fourth question of the evening. No, that is not our fourth question. Why is that there? That should not be there. We'll skip that question because that shouldn't be there. So this question was left in the potential Ask a Bard questions for Rogue Bard Advice tab on the Discord, so I just pulled it. Pulling a question from a while ago. This one comes from our good friend Avram Krovax. Wherever Avram may be, we do wish that he's doing well, and we haven't forgotten him, and I hope that he hasn't forgotten us. Yeah, she's a bassist only. Well, okay. Yes, she's a bassist. Only on Rock Band. And I'm sorry to say, she doesn't even need to have the controller in front of her. She could play the bass lines behind her head and still make 100% expert. Genetic memory farms. I don't have Zen. I've never done Zen. The most I do, and you know what? It's over here. I vape, okay? I have a Zeus vape mod, a Geek Vape Zeus, and right now I'm vaping lemon custard pie. Yeah, only on Rock Band. So if you want to know more lore drop on our musical talents, I am a low brass player. I play trombone, baritone, euphonium, low brass. Melody is a reeds player. She plays clarinet, and I believe she used to play alto sax. I'm not sure. It could have been it could have been bass sax or alto or yeah, she I know she plays clarinet. She has one at the house. She hasn't played in years, but yeah, I play low brass instruments. She plays reeded instruments. My sister plays woodwinds. She plays the flutes and the piccolos, or she used to. I would like to learn how to play guitar. I started learning how to play guitar when I was a kid, and the only thing that I ever learned how to play was one of the opening lines to what song is it? Day Tripper. Because my dad, hey, it's pirate lady, it's pirate wench, my wench. And yes, you sing, I sing too. We just discussed that. So maybe, okay. Now that pirate wife is in the house, let's go back to question 3. So she can answer the second half of the question. Here you go, dear. This was the question that was asked. When did we meet? And was it love at first sight? And I already explained that you keep saying that I asked you 14 times to marry me. So there, you don't have to mention that. I get a little sassy about that. And we were just discussing the reeded instruments that you play, whether it's clarinet or alto sax or bass sax. I don't remember. It was not you keep changing that number all the time. Pick a number and get with the program, okay? I did not tell them I threw a hot sauce packet at you from Taco Bell that says, "Will you marry me?" on it. But they know that now. Yeah. I don't think it was 25. But I think I would have given up if it was 25. Shit. That was 17 years ago this October. October 10th. And we kind of share an anniversary month, dear, with Ron and Ruby. Hot sauce packet is worth at least 5 times. Exactly. Go for the moon. Infinity. Well, you know, it only took one time for her to say yes. Every other time she wouldn't even answer. She did say no. She did say yes. She just blew it off. So I mentioned that. I mentioned that we met in Melbourne, and I mentioned that David invited me over to your house to play Rock Band. And I stared at you while singing our song that turned into our song. You changed the subject. I reject your reality and insert one of my own. I had a 0 rejection rate. Yep, that's a fair and accurate statement, Kevin. Fair and accurate. Cause I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? See, get me singing. Oh. Anyway, would you answer the second part so we can move on, please, dear? Was it love at first sight? We're waiting. We All right, while my wife answers the question in chat, we're going to go on to question 5 again. And the lycanthropy. Lycanthropy. Let's lycanthropy. Can it, should it be curable? Or if not, or both, why, how, what for, or does it matter? If Skyrim is anything to say or to show on the matter, then we went over this. Did we go over this question the other day? If we went over this question the other day, Kevin, then I apologize. I thought we did, but I couldn't remember. And well, then it's a bonus question day then, because this question 4 and 5, I guess, were old questions. So, moving right along. Question 6 comes from Kirk. When is the first time that an obviously spiritual creature is depicted or mentioned? Issue. Nope. Now I'm having issues again. Cave art, hieroglyphics. What is the obviously the first spiritual creature depicted or mentioned? Well, Kirk, to answer your question is not really a straightforward question on this. I mean, it is, but it's not. Early Origasian art, circa 43,000 to 30,000 before present, in Europe, the Upper Paleolithic time frame. The Lion Man Lowen Mensch figurine was discovered in a Hohenstein Stadel cave, Germany, carved from mammoth ivory, dating to approximately 35,000 to 40,000 years ago. In the Chauvat and El Castillo caves, hybrid and symbolic figures in the southern France, dating from 37,000 to 33,500 years ago. And they were animal paintings, ritual use, and linked to shamanism. Many Paleolithic sites, including those in France and Spain, feature paintings deep in the cave, often in locations that require arduous journeys to reach. The Bison Man from France, again. Oldest spiritual depictions, Liang Balu, Saipong 4. Dating to at least 43,900 to 44,000 years ago. In Indonesia, they were cave paintings. Göbekli Tepe, though that was 12,000 years ago, circa 9,600 to 9,500 BCE. I got a friend of mine who knows all about Göbekli Tepe. Or not knows all about it, but knows more about it than I do. The Egyptian hieroglyphs, 4th millennium BCE, appearing roughly 3100 BCE, so about 10,000 years ago. The Mesopotamia cylinder seals, 2100 BCE, so about 7,000 years ago. Indus Valley. But to answer your question, the oldest one would probably be the shaman caves, the paintings at Liang Balu's Saipong 4 cave. Spiritual and mythological representation. Now, these are just what you asked for, cave art or hieroglyphs. They don't include the petroglyphs in Australia or petroglyphs in somewhere else. Anywhere there's petroglyphs, because petroglyphs are Paleolithic time frame also. So, yeah, 35 to 40,000 years ago, or 4,300 or 43,900 to 44,000 years ago. So, yeah. But that answers that question. Kirk, I hope that answered that question. And you are a rock star, because the next question is also yours. Law and order has collapsed. A dystopian question. Love it. It is time for the modern day pirates to take over the highways. What car would you, as a pirate, choose for to rule the road? Well, I will tell you what I will not choose. I would not choose an Australian-made Ford Falcon with a blower sticking at the top of the hood, because that's been done before. We're not doing this Mad Max thing. Sorry. And it's the highways. So I'm choosing something that's going to have a lot of... I'm a pirate, so I like cargo, right? So I'm going to choose a semi-truck with at least one, maybe two 53-foot trailers behind it. If its law and order has collapsed, I don't care what DOT says. I'm a train. I'm gonna run one of the long Australian road trains, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tractors deep, or not tractors, 9 trailers deep. So yeah, and it best be made to look like Megatron in Dark of the Moon. No, not Dark of the Moon. The one where he turned into the semi-truck after the first movie, because the first movie he was a plane, so it had to be the second movie where he turned into a semi-truck, and the third movie. But the big desert-looking semi-truck, the one with the one with the cape for his cloak and everything. But yeah, friend lived in Australia for a while. We talked about the road trains. Yeah, and it's only because DOT and the United States regulates how long your tractor and trailer have to be here in the States, or how long they can be here in the States. And so anytime you see a tractor pulling doubles and triples here in the States, it's because those trailers are actually short, and they're shorter than the normal size trailer, and they can fit more on them, more of them there, and still be within the limits front to back of the length limit. So you wouldn't go with a VW with the models all being trade winds. That seems like a good piratey reference. With the models being... Does VW make a trade wind? Population density is a big factor in OZ. Yeah. You realize most of America has to repair its road system constantly to account for weather, etc. Highways would be undrivable for a short time without maintenance. You could still drive on dirt. You can still drive on dirt roads. I mean, ice road truckers, they drive on the ice. I mean, I get your point. You're absolutely right. Many highway systems would be undrivable. The bridges would collapse without proper maintenance. So to your horse, yeah, you could definitely do horse, but there was a reason that the Pony Express didn't use one horse the entire way down the length. They rode on one horse, got to a stopping point, switched over horses. Otherwise, their horse would die. Wonder what effect decreased traffic would have. Well, I will tell you this, Kirk. There wouldn't be any electric cars out on the road. Anybody running a diesel engine could run biodiesel, could make their own biodiesel, and still run a diesel engine. Me, honestly, if I couldn't have a big rig, I would go back and do something steam powered, because coal and wood and water are still plentiful. Horses are the way. Steam power could be on the way too. I mean, and if law and order and everything has collapsed, why couldn't somebody build something like what's his name, from the Will Smith version of Wild Wild West, who built the spider contraption, steam-powered spider contraption walker across the land? Heck, why not build freaking steam-powered Star Wars walkers? You don't have to use the highway systems for that. You can climb over things. You could use biodiesel or solar to charge electric cars, but that's less efficient. Yeah, it definitely is. Definitely is. So, but I hope that answered your question, Kirk. Sorry. And now, had you said it's time for pirates to take over the high seas again, I know exactly what I would take, and I know exactly what I could get, or what I could do to it to make it maneuverable, or I would just drop anchor and make it my own floating city, because that's just basically what it is anyway. And that's an aircraft carrier. And if they hadn't already started dismantling them, the Kitty Hawk and the Enterprise were sold to a ship wrecking firm in Texas for a penny. They didn't even want the United States didn't even want the money for the salvage. They're saying, we're selling this to you for a penny. That's more than we could sell it to you, or that's more than what we could sell it to you for. You can get all of the money back that you're going to spend out of the salvage for the steel, for the scrap salvage. That's basically what they did. So, yeah, a floating city on an aircraft carrier. I mean, there was really nothing wrong. It was still seaworthy floating. They just didn't want to upgrade the nuclear weapon, or the nuclear power plant. It would have cost more to upgrade it and retrofit it than it would be to keep it in service. But we're getting a new Enterprise. It is the new Gerald Ford class Enterprise. So there's always, and there will always be, an Enterprise in the United States Navy. Even the Space Shuttle Enterprise. And that's why I dislike the Space Force idea. If you're going to have a Space Force, don't give it to the Air Force. You give it to the Navy. Because what is space if not but a giant sea, a giant vast sea of nothingness? Are there any boat planes that could take off quickly enough to work on an aircraft carrier? Actually, there might be. But I don't know if anybody's ever tried landing a Hughes HU-1 Albatross on an aircraft carrier. I don't know. Anybody know anything about the Hughes H1 or HU-1 Albatross? Kind of looks like the C-130, only it's a boat plane. Frickin' the U.S. Blue Angels use one as Fat Albert. So you get to go aboard the Constitution in Boston Harbor. That would be my choice for a post-apocalyptic ride. Absolutely. Now, fun story about the USS Constitution. It is the oldest sailing ship still in service in the United States Navy. And it being in service, there is only one group of people who get to spend any time on the USS Constitution, and they have to spend like a year. A year is part of their duty on the Constitution. And that's strictly for subcrews. That submarine crews are the only ones who can get assigned to spend a year on the USS Constitution. I just think it would be cool. Then you could go explore, treasure hunt, or fish parts of the ocean near your aircraft. Yes, yep, you could. You could, absolutely. Absolutely. It would just need, I would just need to know. I'm pretty sure because the Albatross is like the C-130, they both have, they're both STOL aircrafts, which STOL stands for short takeoff and landing. Not to be confused with VTOL, which is vertical takeoff and landing. They both have that capability, but I think their wingspan is just a bit much to land on the aircraft carrier. And neither of them are hooked up with a arrestor cable hook. So I don't know. But even if you couldn't, you could land the Albatross in the water next to the aircraft carrier and get out a little freaking dinghy boat and go over to the aircraft carrier and climb up. Jimmy Buffett had an Albatross, and he named it the Hemisphere Dancer. And then when he got a new one, he named it the Hemisphere Dancer 2. And Hemisphere Dancer 1 is actually sitting in Universal Studios Orlando outside of his bar Margaritaville. So your questions, dear, I will get them to you. They're in my email. They're all about what you think of me. But you saw Buffett's Albatross at Oshkosh Air Show several times. Yep. You know, he lived in it. That he actually gutted the interior of it and made it an RV. But it was pretty cool. So, but yeah. So I'm going to show you guys question 8. Now, question 8 is a long question, and it's a difficult question. Not difficult, and the answer is difficult. It's just time consuming and everything. And maybe we dedicate next week to this question alone, because I know many of the graybeards in the chat are going to absolutely flip with this question. But hats off to Bacon for posting this question. Hey, Pirate, D&D based question for you. We all know that Gary Gygax created D&D and everything was good in the world. Everything was good in the world when Gary Gygax created D&D. From OD&D to AD&D. But going from AD&D to 3rd E or even 3.5, why was THAC0 or THAC0 a bad thing? Why did it change? Yeah, see what I mean, Kirk? Bacon's question was well thought out, astute D&D question, and it's about THAC0. It's about THAC0. So, question for everybody in the chat. Should we leave this question till next week and devote all of next week to this question? No. I'm not saying THAC0 is bad, Kevin. I like THAC0. It's just, it mathed. So I think this would be a great question for next week, to at least to start the show off, because it is 11 o'clock, and we still have yet to find out who won between Beethoven and Chopin. So we're going to leave this. I'm going to make the executive piratey decision. We're going to leave this question for next week. It will be the first question of the week. That way, everybody else in the chat can have an idea of what's coming next week, and they can figure out what questions or what comments they want to make about this question. Thus, that's why tonight's episode is called The Threat of THAC0. Next week, it probably will be The Assault on THAC0. But tonight's The Threat of THAC0. Too much math for people. It still exists. They just don't do it with the math anymore. How is it even a question? Beethoven, obviously. Well, I am glad you said that. And I think I fixed this too. Let's see. Because, yes, it works how it's supposed to. Because this week we have Chopin versus Beethoven. Oh. Let's get on with the battle. Let's see. Let's see who brings what to the battle. Ludwig von Beethoven. His background and persona. He's a German titan of the classical era, famed for passion and defiance. His deafness grants him immunity to sonic disruption and heightens his vibration senses. His weapons and gear. He has a grand piano, the Iron Hammer model. He unleashes thunderous bass harmonics. He has a conductor's baton that channels shockwave crescendos. His Fifth Symphony Shockwave is one of his abilities where he creates an area-wide concussion blast. His Pathetique Pulse is a low-frequency rumble that topples foes. And his Battle Resolve trait, his deafness blocks all auditory illusions and ear-based debuffs. Frédéric Chopin brings Polish-French romantic virtuoso. He's a master of nuance and lyrical poetry. His health is fragile, but he is mentally razor sharp and uses emotion as a weapon. His weapons and gear, he also brings to the table a grand piano, the Silken Nocturne Edition, which projects crystalline treble volleys. He's got an ornate piano stool that deploys miniature sonic drones for distraction. See, Chopin's a sonic artist, but it means nothing to somebody who is immune to sonic damage. And his abilities and traits, he's got the Nocturne's Lullaby, a hypnotic melody that slows enemy reactions, if only you could hear it. He's got the Etude Overdrive, lightning fast arpeggio, storm causing microfractures in armor. And the Emotional Veil creates illusions of multiple Chopins to confuse his opponents. Now that's a visual illusion, not an auditory illusion. The tactical overview of the battle. Beethoven's strategy is to open with brute force. Shockwaves shatter Chopin's illusions. He exploits his deafness granted immunity to lunatic lullabies. And he layers a symphonic assault. Bass drops followed by staccato hammer strikes to overwhelm his opponent. Chopin's strategy is to weave hypnotic lullabies to slow Beethoven's tempo and misdirect his baton strikes. He deploys illusion clones and sonic drones to split the focus. Only the focus is still only on the illusion clones because Beethoven can't hear the sonic drones. And he strikes with rapid etude overdrives in the gaps between Beethoven's crescendos. The battlefield ranges from candlelit concert halls and neon-lit stages to floating platforms in a kaleidoscopic dreamscape, ensuring neither maestro claims constant acoustic advantage. Kirk is wanting Chopin for the win. Let me tell you guys something. You guys never, ever, ever fail to disappoint. And I do believe this is the first time we've ever had this exact result. You guys, the 11 of you who voted, now I abstained from voting on this. The 11 of you who voted in the Discord, while it wasn't an overwhelmingly amount, it was still 55% to Beethoven, 45% to Chopin, which means Beethoven wins. Beethoven wins. Now, Beethoven advances in our bracket, right? But let me show you guys something. The algorithmic model that I use to do these 100 battle simulations came out with the same result. Chopin 45%, Beethoven 55%. You guys were dead on the money on this one. Yes, you guys have chosen the winner before with the algorithm, but you guys have never chosen the winners and the losers in the exact same percentages. This was awesome. Nice, Kirk. Nice. But this is what our bracket now looks like. I'm sorry. I have the bracket. I just didn't put it up here. So we've got the Thieves Guild going forward. We've got Beethoven going forward. We've got Ultron moving forward. Our next week's bracket, and I've already put it in the Discord. I've already put the poll up. So go vote in the poll, because it's another set of musical maestros. And as I said in the Discord, they are either mortal enemies or just one guy with a lot of talent and one jealous asshole. But next week is going to be Salieri versus Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Now I know who I'm choosing. I'm still not voting in the poll because I don't want to skew the results. But I know who I'm choosing. Salieri or Mozart. That is in the poll. And with that being said, that ends our daily dungeon, and we are now in chat. So, the good things for the week, if there are still any good things of the week left, let's have them. I've got a good thing of the week, although it's It may be good for me. It may not be good for other people. He wasn't a prodigy. You're right. He was. I mean, Salieri was good. Don't get me wrong. Salieri was good. But what made Salieri jealous of Mozart was good at a younger age. I don't think Salieri was a genius. I think Salieri was what saw the prodigy that Wolfgang was, and saw the success that Mozart had at a younger age, and Salieri was not getting any of this success. He was jealous. He was a jealous, bitter man. Honestly, he was a jealous, bitter man. But we'll talk more about Salieri and Mozart next week. You could say that. You could say that. I will give you that, Kevin. You could say that. You know, that's another one. That's another person we haven't put up on the Deadly Dungeon brackets. Maybe he'll lead the third bracket. Because we're going with this bracket until we can no longer do any versus brackets. But put it out in the Discord. Who would you guys like to see go against Rasputin? You know, Kirk, that's a fair and valid point, and I'm pretty sure that it was 60 to 75% based in fact. So, but I think that's a good discussion for next week. I really do. Anybody else got good things for the week? I mean, as good as they can be. I did get told. I did get told, for anybody in the chat who's listening, that I could just work Friday the 14th of November, and then after I get off at like 3:30, I can bounce to wherever I want to go on Saturday the 15th of November. And as long as I'm back at the office by Monday and I check in over the weekend, I'm good. Yes, dear, we do good things of the week, where we say something good happened to us this week. Well, I mean, you did find out that your glasses were wrong. Her new glasses that she got, everybody, they put the bifocal in the wrong place, so she couldn't see with them. So she had to send him back to Walmart to get him fixed. Bacon. Since I missed last week because I was asleep, my good thing of the week was handing my notice in because I got a new job. I hate this thing. Is that the new job that you just did the interview for a couple weeks ago? Or did you hand in your notice to that job because you got a new job? My wife hasn't been sick this week. No, but you have been dealing with the grandbaby. I'm not old enough to be a grandfather. It's not a microphone issue because the microphone works everywhere else. I think it's an actual computer or a computer program that is cutting the power on and off on the mic. Well, congratulations, Bacon. Ruby, we're all still alive. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We want everything to be pinks and rainbows, but the world is on fire. But we're still alive. And that reminds me of a song, Ruby. And I wonder if you know it because it was written by a fellow Canadian, one Mr. Jonathan Colton. And it's sung by GLaDOS and him. And it's called Still Alive. And if you've ever played Portal, you'll get the reference. Not sure if anybody in the chat has played Portal, but yeah. New, may we know what the new job is? New job is. This song is a triumph. The cake is a lie. Where did we get cake? Training apprentices for automotive manufacturers. Aha, Bacon's an automotive manufacturer now. Yes! A specific auto manufacturer, Bacon, or just any auto manufacturer? Like, I know you guys over there in the UK have you still have Mini. Mini still makes stuff over there. You still got Lotus over there. Is Triumph still making cars over there? Ford, Mazda, and Stellantis Group. Okay, so Dodge. Cool. Ford, Mazda, and Dodge. Nice. If you've not played Portal, play it now. It is way too good for a game with such a simple game mechanic. She is the trainer. Not cars, but Triumph still making motorcycles. You think? I also, is Rover still making cars over there in the UK, Bacon, or did Rover go defunct? Because Rover, I'm pulling out weird and old cars. I just don't know what's made over in the UK anymore. I mean, yeah, you got McLaren, you got Lotus, you got all the high-end cars, but Rover became MG and then went to China. That upsets me. That upsets me. Why are you going to mess with MG? No. Anyway, yeah, and to go over to China, yeah, I see that. You want to know what I would like to see, though? I would like to see somebody... Good night, dear. Good night, dear. I would like to see somebody take what Reliant used to be and send the Robins over to China. Do you understand the chaos you would cause with a Reliant Robin or a bunch of Reliant Robins in China? They can't take turns. They will tip over. 16 years in the automotive industry. And we didn't talk about that. Well, we didn't talk a lot. But we didn't talk about this. You and I need to talk some more on the next gathering, Bacon. Because I have been working on cars since I was 8 by myself. Since I was 11, I am a classically trained aircraft sheet metal structural repairer. And all of that stuff transitions over to automotive work. Yes, we will talk in November. We will, because I still have 2 cans of cream of bacon soup. Let's do that. Let's do that. Cream of bacon soup. I don't know how it tastes. I haven't tasted the cream of bacon soup. That's going to be a running that's going to be a running thing. That is going to be a running thing. Kind of like our other long-standing running thing that I haven't mentioned tonight. I did put it in chat earlier, but I haven't mentioned anything tonight. It tastes like a salt lick. The cream of bacon soup tastes like a salt lick. Look, okay, I found it on the shelf in Publix, Kevin, to be honest. And I will take a picture. The next time I'm in Publix, I will take you a picture of the weird and wacky flavors of soup that this Publix here in Gainesville has. And it's all Campbell's. It's all Campbell's soup. Like, they have spicy buffalo chicken soup. They have sriracha something. They have I will take a picture and post it in the Discord. Yes, Kirk and they aren't talking because they want to be painted, and Kirk says, nay, I'm not painting you. You will sit there and gather dust in your gray shame. Or black shame. Well, no, we can't black shame here. We can't black shame here. We can gray shame. But there's no black shame. Kirk can't hear me. Well, okay, Ron, and all the cardiologists cashing it. Let's just go through the particulars. Let's go through the nutrition facts of the cream of bacon soup. 130 calories per serving. That doesn't seem like a lot of calories, and it's got 2.5 servings in it. And if you cut it with water instead of cutting it with milk, it actually lessens the calories. It's got 9 grams of fat. It's got 2 grams of saturated fat, 0 trans fat, 4 grams of polyunsaturated fat, 2 grams of monounsaturated fat, 5 milligrams of cholesterol. It actually gives you cholesterol. 0 vitamin D, 0.2 milligrams of iron, 750. Now this is where it's at. This is where serving is 3 spoonfuls. Serving size is half a cup. This is where it gets you. This is where it gets the cardiologist. Sodium is 750 milligrams of sodium. 0 fiber, 0 sugars, 3 grams of protein. It's got a recipe on the side of it for overnight breakfast casseroles. It's 50 minutes plus chill time. Takes 50 minutes to make plus chill time. It gives 6 servings. For that recipe and more, go to campbells.com/recipes. It's got water, pork stock, vegetable oil, modified cornstarch, bacon bits, bacon cured with water, salt, sugar, natural smoke flavoring, sodium phosphate, sodium ethorbate, sodium nitrate, wheat flour, cream, less than 2% of salt, soy protein concentrate, dried garlic, and natural smoke flavoring. Do you think it's like when you eat bacon flavored chips and you just have bacon burps the rest of the day? Per serving, Kevin. Per serving. 750 milligrams per serving. Yeah, it actually has some real cured bacon in it. Now, most of all that is from the cream sauce. So, and if you, and instead of using it 1-to-1 ratio, if you do it 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 and make it an extremely thin soup, you can cut that thin soup with a cornstarch mix and thicken it back up. And you'll actually lessen the amount of sodium and the amount of calories you get because it has more, it's no longer more of a concentrate as it is a full-on thing. Oh, no. This is not a cardiologist dream. I've had the cardiologist dream, and my sodium was, or my salt was up damn near 3,000 milligrams when I went in to go see my doctor and do some blood work and some labs. But that was 2 days after I had eaten at Steak and Shake. And I had what they call a 7x7. If you go to Steak and Shake, this is actually a menu item, but they have it on their overnight menu, and it's their for their stores that are open 24 hours. This is an item that is on their overnight menu, and you can order it anytime during the day as long as you know it's on the menu, or as long as you know what it is. Now, the 7x7 is exactly what it sounds like. It's 2 pieces of bread, 7 pieces of cheese, and 7 burger patties. And I ate that dang thing faster than Melody and my dad ate their single burger and fries. And I ate the burger and my fries before they were done with theirs. I'm not a fat person for no reason. I did it to myself. It just didn't poof one day and all it was here. No, I did it to myself. So. Oh, no. Not 2 burgers worth, Kevin. It's like 3 burgers worth. Or 4 burgers if you get 3 doubles and a single. But yeah, no. That's the cardiest. You know what? Matter of fact. Let's go over here. Let's go over to this computer screen right here. The Steak and Shake 7x7 steak burger comes in at a whopping 610 1,660 calories, 128 grams of fat, 29 grams of carbs, 95 grams of protein. Where is it? Where is it? Here we go. Here we go. Sodium on the steak burger 7x7. 3,800 milligrams of sodium. I wonder, I should be able to do this. Let's see. No, I want to be on the live scene. I don't want to be right back. Because I can do this, and I can do that, and then I can come over here, and I can edit this in real time. Look at that. Da, 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 da. Ladies and gentlemen, this is 7x7. So what I'm hearing is we need to dip the 7 burgers burger in the cream of bacon soup. Yeah, you could. You absolutely could. Speaking from experience, dying heart attack hurts worse than anything I've ever experienced. Stabbing, broken bones, not a comparison. Take it from the chief or chef. Become a vegan. Your heart will thank you. Look, I have started going that route, and it's not fun, and it's not because I'm trying to go vegan. I'm not cutting meat out of my diet. But there are things that I am eating that are plant-based now, and they're actually pretty good. I've got some cheeses over here that are made with cashews and potato proteins instead of dairy. It's really tasty cheese, and it's the Better Goods brand. I got mozzarella, and I got cheddar and mozzarella blend, and I've got regular cheddar. No steak and shake burger has sesame seed buns. That burger is beautiful, and it's delicious, and it's not as greasy as you think. I mean, yeah, obviously that burger looks greasy as all get up, but I mean, yeah, it's greasy. It's dripping grease, but I guess the grease is what makes it slide down the gullet. Yeah, I've got to figure out what's going on with this dang thing. Anyway, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, the time has come. Trying to get the mic to work. The time has come again, my friends, to bid you all adieu until next week. You all know where to send me questions. You can send them to roguebardadvice, all one word, at gmail.com. Or you can post the questions in the Discord if you are joined the Discord. If not, shoot me an email in the roguebardadvice at gmail.com, and I will sure to get you a link to join our Discord. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, the Pirate Archaeologist, myself, will see you all again next week. Same time, same roguish channel. On a side note, if you guys are any of the TikTok aficionados, you can follow me at ArchaeoPirate on TikTok. And Tuesdays at 7 p.m. from 7 to 9, we will be in Pirate reading Treasure Island. With that, I bid you all fair skies and fairer winds ahead. Have a great weekend, and until next time, take what you can. Give nothing back. It is 7 p.m. Eastern, Kevin. And with that, have a nice evening and have a greater weekend. We'll see you all next week.